I'm just thirsty. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sierra. Why do I have such a hard time? Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sierra. If you're new, welcome. So as you can see, my room looks completely different, and that is because I just moved from the house that I was living in and with my mom. Just knowing that I'm not having to pay so much money in rent, it's gonna be so much easier for me. Now that I don't have to pay so much in rent, I'm going to be able to do so many more things that I want to do, and I'm excited for the future. So I hope you like this setup, and I'm so excited to see the videos that I can create for you guys. So since I'm just moving back here, I feel like the perfect video for me to make is my story time of the worst experience I've had living in an apartment. I'm not going to say the name of this apartment just because I don't want to get sued or anything. So I just wanted to have a story time with you guys and be able to talk about it. And I thought it would be a very laid back and chill video for us to just relax and just pretty much laugh at this experience that I had. So before we get into it, please give this video a like if you like it, subscribe down below, and hit that bell notification for future uploads. And without further ado, let's get into this video. So first I want to give a little bit of background into why I moved to this apartment. So the past 5 years I was living on my own. I lived in 3 different apartments, and each and every one of them had their ups and downs, but the last one that I lived in was absolutely terrible, and I had the worst experience of my life there. When I first moved to this area, I actually was living on my own for about 1.5 years, and I was waitressing pretty much full-time every single day mostly. I only had a couple days off. I didn't really have much time to do anything, so it was really hard. It was really hard living on my own. It was really hard trying to live the life that I wanted to live out there because rent was so expensive and I had so many bills to pay and I didn't have that much money, and I was just trying my best to get by. So that first 1.5 years I was really pushing myself and working hard, and I did have a lot of fun. I loved living by myself. I loved just being able to do what I wanted to do without having to answer to anyone, and just being able to enjoy life and pretty much have friends over whenever I wanted to, and just pretty much have my own space. If you hear anyone talking in the back, it's my mom and her boyfriend, and yeah. Right before I left my first apartment that I lived in by myself, one of my friends from back home that I met from waitressing wanted to move up with me, so I ended up telling her yes. So eventually she moved in with me. I was planning on just having her live in my living room pretty much because I only had a 1-bedroom apartment, but then a little bit later, one of her friends that I had met one day hanging out with her wanted to also move in with me, so I ended up having 2 people move in with me in my living room, and it made my life so much easier. But at the same time, having 2 people live in your living room and you living in your bedroom, it's definitely a lot, and it's not that much space, so we were very in tight quarters. So we ended up deciding at the very end of my lease to move into this apartment that we thought was going to be so great. We thought it was going to be absolutely amazing. It looked beautiful and we really loved it. So we ended up getting this apartment, and when we moved in, we were so happy. We thought it was absolutely beautiful, and it was. It is very beautiful, but there's a lot of bad things that happened. So when we moved in, we were all pretty happy at the very beginning. We were all doing our thing, we were all working, we were all hanging out whenever we weren't working, and I thought everything was great. But then eventually one of my friends decided that she didn't want to live there anymore. It ended up being 2 of us that were paying for 3 people's rent when we barely had enough for our own. And it was a quite expensive apartment to live in. So it was a lot for us, and that was absolutely insane. So basically, me and my friend, we were already struggling to pay for the rent, but then all of a sudden, at the very beginning of the month, on the 1st, we were charged a late fee, and it made our life so much harder because these late fees were literally like $100, if not more, and it was just a lot for us. It was a lot for us to already have to pay rent, but also have to pay these late fees. And then later down the road, when we ended up leaving this apartment, we actually found out that they weren't supposed to charge us a late fee until at least like the 5th or the 7th of the month, and we were absolutely floored when we found out that. But then the managers that worked there ended up not working there anymore because they did so terrible, and they just weren't doing their job, and they were just doing things completely wrong. So we were so upset about that. But this is where it gets crazy. Me and my friend, we ended up moving to the third apartment, and this third apartment was still in the same apartment complex as the second one. So we move into this third apartment, and we were thinking to ourselves, okay, everything's gonna be great. It's 2 of us, it's a 2-bedroom apartment. We're gonna be fine, we're gonna be able to pay for everything. And things started to get crazy. In my experience, the things that I went through, I never would have ever expected to happen. But this is basically what happened. So during this time of living at this apartment, I was pretty much sleeping on an air mattress, and I had slept on that thing for literally like months. I was already like very uncomfortable, but then one day I woke up and I like just felt so terrible. Like I had this extreme headache, and I had like a swelling in my upper forehead, and I had no idea what it was. And then I look in the mirror, and it was like my entire upper like face was swollen, and I was so afraid of like what was going on with me. I ended up going to the ER and finding out that I had a sinus infection, and that was absolutely terrible for me. I ended up going home and trying to go to sleep, but guess what happened next? So basically, when I was trying to go to sleep, my air mat just started deflating, and then the electricity went off and the heat went off. So I was literally freezing to death because it was like around like October, November, and I was so freaking cold. So I had a sinus infection, I had no electricity, I had no heat, and I was on a deflated air mattress, and I was struggling financially because this apartment complex continued to charge us late fees on the very beginning of the month and just made us keep on going behind and behind. So I ended up doing something crazy. I ended up going into the bathtub because I was so cold. I turned on the hot water, and I literally was in the bathtub for like a couple hours trying to get warm because I was so cold, and I was literally in that bathtub like just laying there and just like being like, what the hell is my life? So I remember I ended up getting out, and my friend just got back from work, and she was like, why is the electricity not on? And I was like, I have no idea. I thought we paid it, but they continued to turn it off. And we got the electrical person to come out for us, and he ended up being so rude to us. I remember like being on the phone with him. I mean, it was like 12 o'clock at night, but still, like if you need help, they should be able to help you. And this was the electrical person with the apartment complex, and we were on the phone with him. He was like, I'm not gonna come out there at this time of night. And we were just like, okay, but we are freezing to death, and this is your job. So pretty much he didn't want to come, but he ended up coming just because we were very upset with him, and we kept on calling him, and then we ended up calling the like management and telling them about it on like their little hotline. But we were just so upset. So he ended up coming. I guess he like turned it on, but I guess he didn't really fix it because a couple minutes later it ended up turning off. So me and my friend once again had to call him again. He ended up not answering, and we ended up going outside by ourselves and figuring out how to turn it back on. But I think the next day ended up doing the same thing, so we had to do that again. It was crazy. We also dealt with people like above us pretty much stomping all the time and being so loud. You could literally hear everything people were saying and doing, and it was crazy, and I was like so sick of it. We ended up complaining to the management because we are so upset with everything. It didn't really feel like they cared about us. We would call up there and try to like talk to them and be like, hey, like our electricity keeps on turning off, and y'all keep on charging us late fees on the first, and we know it shouldn't be that way, but you continue to do it. And they could just continue to come up with different lies to pretty much make us feel like we were the one in the wrong, when in reality they were the ones. And they ended up even saying that we couldn't call up there anymore because they were tired of us complaining. It was just crazy, and we ended up getting everything fixed. We ended up getting our light back on and our heat and everything, but it was terrible. And that was probably like the worst night of my life, having to deal with not having electricity, having a sinus infection, and literally just struggling. My hair was a mess, girl. Like, I remember one of the management people, he was very nice. He ended up coming in there and helping us one time with electricity, and I just looked like a freaking rat that just woke up and was wet in my hair and everything. It was funny as shit. I ain't gonna lie, looking back at it, but I thought in those moments that I was never gonna get out of that situation, and I told myself I would never live in an apartment ever again in my life because it was terrible. But we ended up getting out of that apartment, and we ended up moving to a house that my friend's boyfriend ended up finding, and our lives got so much better, thankfully. And I lived there for about a year with them, and I just moved out of there, and now I'm here, and I am just so happy that I'm not gonna have to go through that ever again, because let me tell you, it was insane. So if any of you are looking to go to an apartment, I would just tell you, please be careful, please do your research, and please listen to people if there's people around that apartment complex that are saying something, because this is one more thing that I forgot to tell you. When we first moved into this apartment, there was this woman literally in the leasing office telling us not to move in, and guess what we did? We moved in. So don't do that. Don't not listen to your neighbors and stuff, because let me tell you, if we would have listened to this woman, we wouldn't have had to go through all the shit that we went through. So please be careful when you're moving into an apartment, because I will never do that again. I'm sure there's some good ones out there, but it was terrible. I hated that place so much, and I'm sure my friends would definitely agree with me. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Like I said, if you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe down below for more videos. I like doing story times because I feel like it's a lot of fun to just sit here and talk about different experiences that I've had. I think it's pretty entertaining, and I think it's kind of funny, the stuff that I've been through. Maybe in my next video I'll talk about when I waitressed at this job and pretty much got a coffee pot thrown at me. It was pretty funny, pretty crazy, and very dramatic. I went through a lot of there, so yeah. So I hope all of you guys enjoyed this video. I hope all of you guys are doing well, and if you enjoyed this kind of video, please leave down in the comments that you want more storytime videos with me. I think it will be a lot of fun to do with you guys, and just be able for you guys to get to know me a lot better, and just help you have some laughs and make you smile. So yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. Y'all have a wonderful night, and until next time, remember to be the peace. I love you guys. Stop. I'm awkward. So before we get into this video, I want and dang it, what am I even saying? I don't even know what the I'm talking about. Okay, so my friend from oh my god. Okay, so my friend from back home ended up wanting to. Okay, we gonna calm down. We gonna do this right. Okay, don't.